It's the 5th of February 2020, and in this upload, I'm going to just document my past 24 hours and the significance of what being a victim of crime is and what a victim of hate crime is like, and the constitutional violations that are involved in this entire situation. Um, so, in the past 24 hours, I've encountered correspondence that is refusing to address the issues that have been caused for me. As I've mentioned, there have been people systematically um, disrupting my livelihood and abusing their positions, basically. Um, so there's a few establishments involved in this circumstance, and it's actually more serious than I would have anticipated when the initial wrongdoing was perpetrated in 2017. It's really quite shocking how people's falsehoods and false reports and false claims in 2016 would have led to this kind of situation in Tralee County, Kerry, Ireland. It just goes to show how dangerous people's lives have been, and it just goes to show the level of inconsideration that people in positions of political authority or, you know, any positions of authority involved in this situation have not understood how serious all of this actually is. So, as I've explained, there's been a serious assault perpetrated against me as a light worker, and simply for the intention of desecrating my good name, my character, my reputation. There have been so many dangerous falsehoods relayed, and the level of honesty involved in those falsehoods is zilch. As I've mentioned already, there's been the intentional effort to undermine and isolate and ignore, and these people preventing me from achieving my rights or from attaining my rights, and for their efforts in obstructing justice. I'm surprised at the cost and expense and trouble that they have gone to cause such a mess in society and to cause such problems, when it would have been easier just to have compensated for what damage had been done over a decade ago when I experienced revenge porn and sexual assault. So matters have been worsened, and I still haven't received any compensation or amends. My health has been affected due to medical incompetence, and the interesting fact of all of this is that even though I've clearly stipulated to the recipient of the correspondence that I just received an acknowledgement from, even though I've stipulated very clearly all the incidents of negligence involved in this matter, apparently it's not an issue for that establishment to address, which is making me wonder that the level of support for victims of crime and hate crime obviously isn't considered very highly in the list of priorities with the elections coming up, and that doesn't send out a positive message to deserted wives, women, mothers, etc., and victims of crime or hate crime. So, as I've said, the issue of medical incompetence that I've experienced is one issue. My employment opportunities were also affected. My opportunities were also affected. And this intentional effort by the culprits that I'm fully aware of have basically inflicted poverty to a qualified professional that has worked for over 20 years and that has had no reason to be victimized and violated as I am being victimized and violated. So there are individuals preventing me from the assistance that I require. The said same culprits have lied continuously and worsened a bad situation. Um, their lies have been further defamation of my character and further intention of violating my constitutional rights. The interesting aspect of all of this is that the very same people aren't only guilty of just one scandal back in 2005, 2006, 2007, but also this situation also, that is a lot more serious when it involves innocent life. And the attitude of just turning a blind eye and ignoring this matter is more than serious, especially with regard to the harm and damage that has been incurred and the physical injuries and the losses, etc., etc. So, in a day and age of information and the right to information, etc., and people's means of attaining information, this is an interesting circumstance. In 2017, my body, my light body, was very severely damaged, and there was a lot of exploitation from that incident. And the exploitation is financial exploitation that has occurred. And these people that have done this and that are using unethical means to attain information unethically, without my authorization or without my consultation, have intentionally isolated and undermined and continuously lied. This isn't just a dangerous situation for this woman, but many other women also that could possibly fall prey to victimization and violations. The most serious issue for me as a peace campaigner since 2006 is the aspect of civil liberties and the concept of zero tolerance in society. How this could be happening is unfathomable. Civil liberty, we all know that it requires respect and integrity and dignity of rights of all citizens. And due to the pettiness and notions of superiority by some people in this situation, they think that by disrespecting the constitution of this country to gain for themselves, after already taking so much and after causing so much damage already, that I find it interesting that they'd ever find any possible positive outcomes to this circumstance. But I suppose that's just their lack of awareness with regards to what they've been damaging and what they've been stealing. So there's been a lot of crossed wires in this situation. There's been identity theft, financial theft, and soul theft. And this issue is a very serious issue for the Department of Justice. And this issue is also very serious for the other ombudsmen that I've contacted. So it's 2020, and my first experience of assault in this town was in 2004, 2005. This has occurred now again as another second scandal with the assault of other more important little individuals than myself. And, you know, that's not positive for any law and order in society. So the elections are upcoming, and they'll be happening in a matter of days. And I've been contacting the relevant politicians and ministers in this situation since 2017. And for a woman that has contributed so positively to society, and for a woman that has had so much stolen from her and so much damage done to her, I'm wondering what conscience would the authorities and the politicians like to give to this matter when considering civil liberties, peace campaigns, and zero tolerance. Because it appears to me that people are just doing what they want. and getting away with it in this circumstance, because as well as the correspondence I'm just after referring to, I'm just after seeing an interesting correspondence that is highly inaccurate. So this is what's going on, and to think that there hasn't been any consultation with me, and that services and advocacy and supports that I'm entitled to and my legal rights that I'm entitled to are intentionally being spat on, and that's pretty serious for a woman that has worked and that is currently suffering physically due to medical incompetence. So those people in their positions of authority that are abusing their positions of authority, I hope they understand the consequences for this kind of a circumstance to be happening to an innocent mother and deserted wife. So for February the 5th, 2020, another shameful update from Tralee County, Kerry, Ireland, simply because people can't understand the reality of a situation that shouldn't have ever been happening, and that has involved, as I said, harm done to another innocent life. And, you know, for the women of Ireland and for the politicians up in Dublin, I'd appreciate it if you just considered this situation a little bit more seriously, because money is not king, and as I've said, there's an awful cost to these kind of circumstances to be happening to a law-abiding citizen and a peace campaigner. So those people that are causing me these problems with their own issues considered, I hope they understand how serious this is and how dangerous a situation has been caused, and how dangerous the lies and false reports and the false information and the false evidence and this entire circumstance is for all involved, because the damage has been done already since 2017, and unfortunately those involved don't seem to understand how making matters worse is going to just have awful more worse consequences for all involved. This is an obstruction of justice, and the compensation I'm owed is quite substantial. Health is wealth, and my health and my body has been very severely damaged because of the damage being done to me. And I just wonder how the Department of Justice have not contacted me with regards to these matters. So that's as much as I'll say about this now for today, only that there seems to be a few wires crossed, and the information and whatnot in society about who's who and what's what, and identity theft and financial theft and spiritual theft and all that doesn't seem to be rectified at all. So it's unfathomable. The unfathomable. These are professionals, and it's very serious. So that's my upload for today from Tralee County, Kerry, Ireland.